Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I just thought I'd do something a little bit different and have a little bit of a rant at you guys for a little while. As some of you may know, I am a massive EXO fan, and everybody knows about the lawsuit between Chris and Luhan. Like, that's kind of old news at this point. But some new things recently have arisen between SM and the members of EXO, between their contracts, and it's kind of been making me a little bit angry, so I just want to have a rant and kind of talk about my feelings on the subject. So for those of you that haven't heard the news, SM is actually suing Luhan for doing activities outside of his contract with SM. The first thought that went through my head was, oh my god, SM are totally well within their rights to do this. Like, the fact is, SM can sue Luhan for this, and SM could actually win this. That is not something that I want for Luhan, and you know, not after everything that's happened with Luhan. You know, it seems like a really dodgy move. It seems like SM are almost bitter in Luhan's success, and they're trying to find a way to bring him down. Now, Luhan's really been making a name for himself in China recently. I have seen his recent movie. It's called 20 Once Again, and if it's in cinemas in your country like it was in Australia, definitely make the time to go and see it. It's honestly a great movie, and I really feel like Luhan's found his true calling, which is film. I feel like he's found something that he wants to go in, and he's following in Chris's footsteps, and I certainly hope that it brings them to a happier place in their lives. But the fact still remains that this could actually be a breach of the contract. From what I have heard, SM could possibly win this because, you know, filming a movie and, you know, possibly signing up for an agency is a breach of the contract, you know, absolutely. But from what I've heard online is that it does depend if Luhan has actually signed a contract with another agency. He may have played it smart and not signed a contract and done this work, you know, totally freelance, which may actually not be against SM's contract, although it wouldn't surprise me if it was, because SM contracts are essentially slave contracts. But also, you know, just because SM can sue Chris and Luhan, it doesn't technically mean that they should. When you think about it, it's in SM's best interest to keep Chris and Luhan in the group, to keep them happy. Now, I'm not actually sure what actually made Chris and Luhan leave the group, but let's hypothetically say that Chris and Luhan loved being in EXO, they loved making music, but it was only because of the bad treatment in SM that Chris and Luhan decided to leave. Now, SM would actually probably be able to get Chris and Luhan back into the group if they were willing to compromise on some of these aspects of their slave contracts, which already are probably a violation of human rights and totally not fair. If Chris and Luhan were being overworked, they were just really tired, you know, they needed breaks, SM could compromise and say, have more vacation time, you know, have more time off, and they could keep Chris and Luhan in the group. They could keep them in the group, and they could keep their money rolling in. You know, I would hate to know how much money SM would have lost from TVXQ when the members of JYJ left. It causes a lot of unnecessary drama and a lot of unnecessary, you know, financial losses for SM. It should be in their best interest to be looking after their idols and to make sure that they're happy within, you know, reasonable means. Not obviously some, you know, crazy demands that some, you know, pop stars seem to have. Things to make their living conditions more humane, a lot better. That kind of compromising could go a long way, and it's quite clear from the recent news that SM are not willing to compromise. They're not willing to compromise with Luhan. As far as I know, all the negotiations so far, they have not been able to reach an outcome that's, you know, best for both of them. So I just think that if SM were willing to take a look at how they're actually treating their idols and having a look and see if there's any way that they can improve their idols' lives just a little bit. It may actually go a really, really long way for them. And you know, I know a lot of people that are really becoming disillusioned with the K-pop industry. Simon and Martina from Eat Your Kimchi have temporarily kind of put K-pop Music Monday on hiatus because they just can't stand seeing the idols treated the way that they are and the industry running the way that it is. And I have to kind of agree. It's kind of hard to love a K-pop group when you know that A, they're either not happy, or B, they're not being treated like they should, or C, they're not being paid for all the hard work that they put in. These are simple things that could actually go a long way. And speaking of money, there's also the whole issue of the break-even point. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of what a break-even point is. I know that I certainly wasn't before I watched Simon and Martina's video on break-even points. So what a break-even point is, it's basically the added up total of all the expenses that the K-pop company has spent on you, and you have to make your profits reach that point to be able to then take some of the profits or most of the profits from the company. And you think about it, break-even points can be ridiculous because these companies would train these trainees for, 4 years, pay for transportation, pay for training, pay for dance lessons, pay for singing lessons, pay for accommodation, paying for flights, all that stuff just would really add up. And most companies don't even let their K-pop groups see their break-even points. These K-pop idols work and they don't know how close or how far away their break-even point is. And the other dodgy thing with the break-even point is that if these companies aren't showing these idols their expenses, they are free to tack on whatever expenses they want. If an idol has a concept, they could hire a $50,000 instructor to teach them whatever they need for that concept, and the K-pop idol wouldn't know, and they would have to pay off all that money on their break-even point. And this is where I'm kind of going with this whole compromising thing. If TS Entertainment, for example, with BAP, were willing to show and willing to be upfront about the break-even point for BAP, this whole lawsuit could have possibly been avoided. And even though I am getting off track and talking about BAP, there is a possibility that BAP may actually win the lawsuit because BAP has evidence against TS Entertainment for all this dodgy stuff that's been happening. So at this stage, it could really go either way, and it's not looking too good for Luhan at this point either, because if he is indeed breaching his contract by doing work for another agency, that will not look good when it comes to them having to go to the courts to settle this. But anyway, there is a lot that we don't know because we aren't in SM, so I think I'm going to just leave my rant here for now. Basically, what I want is, I just want these K-pop companies to be willing to negotiate these living conditions with their idols. And even though I don't work in the K-pop industry, so I really don't know, and this is just my opinion, but I just hope that all these lawsuits really do encourage these K-pop companies to look at the way that they're treating their idols and work on ways to treat them better, to keep the idols in the group, keep them in the K-pop industry if that's what they want to do, and just make this K-pop music industry a better place overall for fans and artists as well. So thank you guys for listening to the first rant on my channel. I never thought I'd be making a rant video, but this has really just kind of made me angry and I just had to share it. So if you guys like this video, please don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys! But when I get into a public situation, like karaoke, I have sung K-pop at karaoke before, or at concerts, the lyrics just totally escape from my head and I just cannot remember them, and I am just left fumbling around trying to remember the words like an idiot.